Well, we're turning now to the lame duck session of Congress, and joining us by Skype is Congressman Tom Price of the 6th Congressional District in Georgia. He's also the chairman of the Conservative Republican Study Committee. Congressman, welcome.
Hey, Tony, thanks so much. Great to be with you tonight.
Appreciate you taking time out of your evening to join us for what I think is a very important topic, and that is we've been talking about the taxes, but we want to talk about what's going to happen in this lame duck session of Congress. Is the American family going to get a tax break, or are they going to find themselves being taxed even greater?
Well, it's a great question, and I know you've been talking about it all evening. It's a question that's on the minds of so many Americans because they don't know the answer to that. And if you think about it, the uncertainty that just comes with not knowing the answer to that by itself is destructive to various aspects of our economy. Whatever happens on November 2nd will be a significant change in Congress. And so what we have tried to do is to implore every single American to make certain that they get their representative on record to say we won't pass increasing taxes in a lame duck session, any increasing taxes in a lame duck session. We think that's the important message to deliver right now.
Hi, Congressman Tom McCluskey with the Family Research Council Action. Before the current recess, you introduced a piece of legislation that tried to get current members on record. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, what we did was introduce a privilege resolution that said that there ought not be any lame duck session that addressed very significant issues like tax increases or more spending. And the reason that we introduced that was because President Obama, Speaker Pelosi, Harry Reid, many of the leaders on the other side of the aisle have said that that was their intent, not to vote on issues prior to the election in an honest and an upfront way for the American people to see, but to hide it and to do it in a lame duck session after the election. We just think that was deceitful and not an appropriate way to address the remarkable challenges that we have.
Well, what can the American people
went down basically along party lines.
Well, what can the American people do to help out in this situation? I mean, I think everybody's looking toward the election. Election's important. Obviously, that's going to send some messages, but November the 3rd, we got to wake up and we still have to be at work.
Absolutely. You got to keep contacting your representatives and your senators. And I think it's important, we think it's important to get people on record right now before the election, whether they're Republican or Democrat, to commit to not increasing taxes, not increasing spending, not passing the card check legislation, and not passing the national energy tax in a lame duck session. Those issues ought not even be addressed after we have the remarkable changes that I think we're going to have on November 2nd.
Well, about those changes, Congressman, at least 12 Democrats have said they're not going to vote for Nancy Pelosi if she were to run for Speaker. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but come January 2nd, will you be voting for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker?
No, I won't. You can put me in the column of not voting for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker. I can't tell you how excited I am about the number of individuals, high-quality individuals across this country who have stepped up and are running for Congress this year. The 60, 70, 80 new members who are coming, I believe, are going to reinvigorate Congress and I believe move us in a direction that the American people want, and that is a direction that is much more responsible, no tax increases, decreasing spending, and not burdening our kids and our grandkids with more debt.
Congressman, I know it's late in the evening, and I appreciate you staying around to join us tonight, but I want to ask you one more question because I think voters out there need to know how important this election is, and that it's going to send a strong message, I think, even by the margins of victory that may be seen by conservatives in the House. But also, do you think that the voters, based on what you're hearing and what you're seeing, that they're not going to disengage after this election like they historically have, but they're going to continue to push through, hold members of Congress accountable? Therefore, I think it could have an effect upon other members in the lame duck session that did get reelected, but knowing that the American public is watching, you think that's going to have an effect on them?
I think you're absolutely right, Tony. As you and I have talked about, one of the big issues that we're trying to address is that whole issue of accountability. Many Americans believe that they've sent representatives to Washington and the representative no longer listens to them. That's the whole mantra that we're hearing from across the country, people who don't believe that their representatives are listening. And that's why this whole issue of accountability, making certain that representatives do what they said they were going to do, at home when they go to Washington. And I believe that the folks who will be there in this lame duck session coming up will get a message loud and clear from the American people. If the numbers that are coming to Washington, the new numbers that are coming to Washington, are very big. Got 12 to 13 days to go before this election. It is still a lot of time in the electoral process. People across the country can still contact their relatives, contact their neighbors, their coworkers, the folks that they go to church with and worship with. Make certain that they are engaging in this election in the way that you and I both know is absolutely imperative for us to turn this ship of state around.
Well, Congressman, thanks so much for being with us tonight. And I just want to again thank you for not only for joining us tonight, but for your leadership on Capitol Hill as a True Blue recipient from FRC Action, a true friend of the family. And let me ask you one favor. When we get into that lame duck, please don't hesitate to let us know how the folks out there across the country can back you up as you fight for what's right there on Capitol Hill. Thanks,
Tony. We'll keep doing that as well, certainly, and we'll keep fighting for freedom. And thanks to you and to all of the folks who of the FRC network. You all are doing wonderful, wonderful work. I would just implore you not to let up. This is not over yet. We've got 12 to 13 days to go. Now is the time to engage as never before.
All right, Congressman Price, thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you after the election.